The waiter almost didn't notice the man sitting alone at the corner table, but if you looked closely, you could feel the weight around him. Expensive suit. Perfect posture. Eyes that stared at the table as if it carried memories he didn't want to touch. Before this story unfolds, pause for a second. If stories about unexpected kindness, hidden pain, and second chances touch your heart, tap like, subscribe to the channel, and stay till the end, because what that child left on the table would change everything. Ethan Hale was a CEO whose name appeared in business magazines more often than in birthday cards. He built an empire of glass towers and digital numbers, yet every night he returned to silence. The kind of silence that grows loud after you've lost someone and never learned how to grieve properly. That evening, he chose a small downtown diner instead of his usual fine dining restaurant, hoping the noise of clinking plates and murmured conversations might drown out the echo inside him. Rain tapped against the windows like impatient fingers. Ethan ordered dinner he barely tasted, his mind drifting back to a time when dinners meant laughter, when someone sat across from him and teased him for working too much. His wife had died years ago, and their only child had been taken by an illness so cruel it left no room for goodbyes. Success came later, but it never filled the space they left behind. The diner door creaked open, letting in cold air and something heavier, desperation. A homeless family stepped inside. The mother's coat was thin, the father's shoes worn down to the soles, and between them stood a small child clutching a stuffed bear missing one eye. Conversations hushed. Some people stared, others looked away. The manager hesitated, clearly weighing compassion against complaints. Ethan noticed them because the child noticed him first. Their eyes met briefly. The child smiled, a small, unguarded smile, the kind that doesn't ask permission. It unsettled him. He looked away, suddenly interested in his untouched food. The family took a seat near the door, clearly not planning to order. The mother whispered apologies to the waitress, explaining they were just warming up. Ethan listened without trying to, his chest tightening. He remembered another cold evening years ago, when he had been too busy to come home early, when warmth and family had still been waiting for him. Before he could overthink it, Ethan raised his hand and quietly asked the waitress to bring menus to that table. "Whatever they want," he said, his voice steady but his hands trembling. "Put it on my bill." The mother hesitated when the food arrived, eyes glossy with disbelief. The father nodded in silent gratitude. The child bounced slightly in their seat, hugging the stuffed bear tighter. Laughter returned to the diner in soft waves, and something inside Ethan loosened. He watched them eat, pretending not to. The child took careful bites, as if afraid the food might disappear. Ethan felt a sharp sting behind his eyes. He told himself it was just nostalgia, just a passing emotion. He was wrong. When the family finished, the mother stood and walked toward Ethan's table, hands clasped. She tried to speak but her voice broke. "Thank you," was all she managed. Ethan nodded, uncomfortable with praise. The father shook his hand firmly, pride fighting humility. Then the child stepped forward. The child didn't say anything. They climbed onto the chair across from Ethan, placed something gently on the table, and hopped down. Before Ethan could react, the family was already heading toward the door, the bell chiming softly behind them. Ethan looked down. His breath stopped. It was a small folded paper, creased and worn. On top of it sat the one-eyed stuffed bear. His hands shook as he unfolded the paper. Inside was a child's drawing. Crayon lines formed a picture of a man sitting alone at a table. Across from him was a stick-figure child with a wide smile. Above them, written in uneven letters, were the words, "You look lonely. You can have my friend tonight." Ethan froze. The diner noise faded. The rain outside disappeared. All he could hear was his own heart breaking open. Memories rushed in, his child leaving toys on his desk, saying they were there so daddy wouldn't feel alone while working. He pressed the paper to his chest, tears finally spilling, unchecked and heavy. The waitress approached quietly, unsure what to do. Ethan wiped his face and managed a smile that felt new and fragile. He paid the bill, but he stayed long after the diner emptied, staring at the drawing like it was a lifeline.